Syncing. All right, we got the bisexual lighting. You know, that's gonna be a good video when you got a white boy with a bisexual lighting. You know, it's gonna be a great video. I don't know if you could tell from my last video, but I kind of like horror. It's been a staple in my life ever since I was a kid, but no horror medium has gotten me in a chokehold as much as video games. But between beloved horror franchises like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Outlast, no studio has reached a cultural impact that was created by a single Christian man in Houston, Texas. Enter Scott Cawthon. On August 8th, 2014, Five Nights at Freddy's was released on De Jure and greenlit on Steam 12 days later. Remember De Jure? God, I remember watching PewDiePie and Cryotic play, what was it? It was Bloody Trapland, I think. I remember going to the description to play it, and it was on De Jure. Remember Steam Greenlight? Shit. Since then, the franchise now has 9 games, 12 books, countless merchandise. There's no way this is fucking real, man. What the hell? There's no way. I refuse to believe that this is official merchandise. Swear to God. And a movie that has been just around the corner since the Obama administration. Five Nights at Freddy's was and still kind of is everywhere, especially with the release and subsequent disaster of Security Breach, but that's a whole other can of worms. On the game development side of things, FNAF and by extension Scott showed a lot of people that solo developers could make huge franchises solely from the comfort of their own room. And because of this, a lot of aspiring indie devs tried their hand at making games in a similar style to the source material. Some games were of dubious quality, but some of them were genuinely promising. Games like Five Nights at Treasure Island, Five Nights at Candy's, One Night at Flumpty's, and my personal favorite, Five Nights at Fuckboys.
I'm going to punch the fuck out of this door until it opens.
But not even just FNAF fan games. The franchise gave way to a new wave of horror games for kids. Games like Hello Neighbor, Bending the Ink Machine, Baldi's Basics, and Poppy's Playtime. Now, back when the FNAF fan game craze was at its peak, an 11-year-old me had just figured out what a game engine was and wanted to make a game of his own. So on my shitty Toshiba laptop that ran Minecraft at a frame rate that did indeed exist, I downloaded the free version of ClickTeam Fusion and I tried to make one. It never came out, and honestly, if it did, it probably wouldn't be any good, and I would be really embarrassed if it did, but I tried. But despite all of that, without FNAF and Scott, I probably wouldn't be here right now wanting to make games, and Scott showed me and a lot of people that solo devs exist and could rival the big boys, which makes me really upset now considering his recent controversies, but I don't really want to get into that in this video. Now we've got people like Toby Fox, Thomas Brush, and no, not you. So now that I'm older and more experienced in the world of game development, I thought I'd finally realize my younger self's dream and make a FNAF-inspired game. For legal reasons, I have to say that this is merely inspired by the games created by Scott Cawthon and Steel Wool Studios. Everything in this game is created by me, ImOsiris. I am not infringing on the copyright of the Five Nights at Freddy's game series. Please don't sue me. Thanks. With that out of the way, I booted up my engine of choice, not Unity this time, Unreal Engine. I wanted to test out the capabilities of the newly released Unreal Engine 5, so I'm going to be using it for this project. Coming from Unity with C#, blueprints are generally fucking awesome, and because of them, most of the systems in this game were programmed entirely by me with no outside help or tutorials, which never happens since I'm a dumbass. So thanks Epic. I started a new project, called it FNAF Fan Game, not affiliated with Scott Cawthon and Steel Wool Studios by the way, and got to work. I started by making the player controller. Luckily, most of the heavy lifting is done by Unreal's Character Blueprint Actor, which handles physics and other calculations. Wait a minute. After adding like 8 nodes, the movement was complete. Much quicker and easier than whatever the fuck I had going on in the last video. I then got to work on level design. I bought a bedroom pack from the Unreal Marketplace and started laying everything out. I can't get the sentence down. While me from however long it was from right now works on that, I should probably explain what the premise of this game is. Basically, you play as a kid of undetermined age, fending off monsters from your bedroom while also trying to fall asleep. The monsters will come in from a window and a door, so you have to close them to stop them from coming in. Is there a reason for it? Is there any secret lore to the monsters and why they're going after the player? Nope. Now, I think I've proven that I really suck at level design, but I think I did a pretty decent job with this. I mean, it somewhat resembles a bedroom, so once the bedroom was complete, I started on the interaction system. I followed this tutorial while God, I can't speak. I followed this tutorial by Matt Asplin on making doors open and close and modified it to fit this project. After a bit of coercing, I got it working how I wanted to. To break it down, when the game starts, a random number is generated from a set minimum and maximum value, and then a timer starts counting down from that value. Once that timer reaches 0, the door opens. Another timer started, and then once that timer reaches 0, I then needed to do the same for the window. I got a blinds model from the bedroom pack and created a blueprint for it with 2 static meshes for the open and close states. The same thing for the door goes for the window, but instead of playing an animation, it just flips between open and close because fuck animating. Great, now both the doors and the blinds work perfectly. Now they just need some sound effects. I went to freesound.org to get some free sounds and put them in the game. I can't show you the sounds, however, because my dumbass decided to record all the footage for this video with desktop audio muted, so why the hell did I do that? I also added in some ambient sounds of wind rushing through the windows, but again, can't show you. Since the doors and blinds are done, I still needed the main mechanic of the game, sleeping. At this point, I ended up reworking the doors and blinds to only count the timer down while the player was sleeping, so they would have to interrupt their sleeping to check if the monsters are coming in. All the sleeping mechanic does is just black out the screen with a progress bar at the bottom that slowly counts up the longer you sleep. I also set up sound to play whenever the door has been opened for a set amount of time. I spent a very good amount of time trying to set up the sound to play in a 3D space, but I eventually figured it out. No, I didn't, but I really do not give a shit to fix it. Now that all the main mechanics are done, I began working on the clock system. Like Five Nights at Freddy's, I wanted this game to have a time limit, but instead of trying to survive until the end time, you're supposed to get to sleep before the end time. See? This game is totally different from the Five Nights at Freddy's game franchise by Scott Cawthon and Steelwell Studio. I added a text element to the main HUD which will display the current time. The night will go from 6 p.m. to midnight, at which the kid gets yelled at or something. I don't know, I haven't thought that far ahead. Please, just get off my dick. Programming the time to change wasn't too difficult per se, it was just really tedious and the code is probably not the most efficient, but it works, so. The final thing I did was start setting up the nights. I wasn't entirely sure how I wanted the nights to go, but I settled on 3 nights for now, each night getting harder and harder. Basically, the doors and the blinds will open a lot more frequently, so you really have to be on your feet. I do want to make the game a lot more difficult later on, but I don't want it to be frustrating or straight up impossible, so I'll definitely do some tweaking closer to release. And that pretty much wraps up what I've done in the past month. I'm pretty excited with the progress on this game so far. It definitely needs a lot of work, but I'm hoping it'll turn out a playable release in the end. I plan on releasing at least 2 more devlogs after this one, documenting everything else that needs to be done. But so far, the MVP is pretty fun, at least to me. If you want to see updates while I'm working on it and want to see tweets like this, you should go follow me at ImOsiris. And yeah, thank you for watching.